I'm 28 now, and for the past decade, I've been waiting for this exact moment. Not dreaming about it, not idly wishing for some vague sense of retribution, but deliberately waiting, scheming, and shaping my entire adult life around the certainty that one day my father, Marcus, my brother Ethan, my uncle Victor, and my aunt Clara would come crawling back. And now, here we are. Let me explain, because you need to understand how intentional this has been. I'm not some underdog who overcame hardship and got surprised by fate smiling on me. I've been fueled by rage for 10 years, and every choice I've made since I was 18 was carefully calculated to put me in this position, watching them unravel outside my doorstep. Growing up, my family treated me like I was broken, not just in the way some families tease the odd one out, but with a cold, systematic effort to convince themselves I was utterly useless, and to make sure I felt it every single day. My brother Ethan, 3 years older, was athletic, got passable grades effortlessly, and had a social circle. I was lanky, loved books, and kept to myself. My dad decided early on that I was a failure, while Ethan was the golden child, and that became the family doctrine. My mother died when I was 7, and after that, things got darker. Dad remarried when I was 9 to a woman named Linda, who just went along with whatever he did. She never stood up for me, never challenged him. His brother Victor and his wife Clara lived nearby and were always around, fully buying into the same narrative. I was the family punching bag, the failure, the one destined for nothing. The moment that cemented this, the memory I've carried like a weight for 10 years, happened on my 18th birthday. I can still see every detail of that Thursday afternoon. Dad called me into the living room where everyone was waiting. Ethan, Uncle Victor, Aunt Clara, Linda lingering in the background. He handed me an envelope and said it was my yearly earnings. They were already chuckling before I opened it. Inside was a single dollar bill and a note that read, "For the useless nobody who will never be worth anything." Ethan was laughing so hard he could barely catch his breath, joking that it was still too generous for such a pathetic loser. Uncle Victor chimed in with something about the family fool finally getting paid. Aunt Clara was giggling about how even street beggars made more than me. The room exploded in laughter. This coordinated prank to humiliate me on my birthday was their idea of comedy. I smiled. I folded the note, tucked it into my pocket, and smiled at each of them. Because in that moment, standing there with their laughter ringing in my ears, something clicked in my mind. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was done feeling pain. I was going to ruin them, and I was going to do it deliberately. And I was going to make sure they knew exactly why. That night, I overheard them in the kitchen planning the next part of their game. They wanted to lock me out of the house that night to teach the lazy kid a lesson. See how long it took before I begged to be let back in. Dad was explaining how it would be good for me build resilience. Ethan was all for it. No one objected. I left that night with my backpack, my laptop, and that dollar bill. I stayed with my friend Ryan for 3 days while I gathered my documents. Then I moved 2 hours away to start college early. I've been accepted to a state university with a full academic scholarship that I'd kept hidden from my family, knowing they'd sabotage it or mock me out of going. The scholarship covered tuition and housing. I worked 2. I can't tell you the full story in short. To watch the full story, click the related link below.